Gentlemen, ladies, and anyone in between, I welcome you all, and today we are seriously contemplating whether or not we should change our YouTube channel name from Tactical Advisors to Tactical Flashlight Advisors, because this is just getting obscene. It's been a short few months, and it seems every month Olight reaches out to me in a very kind manner and asks if I want to put out a video promoting their flashlights, and I've declined a few times. Sometimes they offer a product that I have no interest in or any use for, and after getting a bunch of flashlights from them, I ended up spending over I think $400 on their stuff. After I already had way more flashlights than I ever know what to do with, this thing was calling me. This is their Marauder 2, the best cell phone charger I've ever owned, and it's one of those things that is now December. It's another sale. They reached out to me again. They wanted to send me another one of these guys in a different color, and since I already had the light, I had no interest in doing a video on a different color light. It's an awesome light. It throws massive light, massive ranges. It actually outperforms the Marauder in the way downrange department. Not by much, but it's a little bit brighter at, say, 300 yards, 200 yards over the Marauder. But the Marauder can light up a football field all at once in its flood mode. It's pretty insane. So this guy here, just putting it out there, is 20% off. It'll run you in the mid 200s for this bad boy. And wait till you see what the beam looks like, whether it's the flood or it's tightly focused spot beam. Let me see if I can get it to show up on camera without... Okay, so at close range, it's a circle with no spill. As you get further away, it's a square. It's pretty neato, if you ask me. But very cool. My goal for this light is to take it out on the boat when I'm running offshore. Long story short, we usually run about 100 miles in the dark, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, to get out to the Hudson Canyon. And my job is basically to stare at the radar scope to make sure we're not going to crash into any obstructions or any other vessels or lobster pots. And we'll get faint returns that sometimes you slow down because you don't want it. You don't know if it's just a wave or something. You don't want to come up on it doing 30, 40 knots. And having a flashlight or a bow light is good, but you have to be careful that you're not lighting up the front of the boat, because now when that white fiberglass is reflecting back at you, you just blinded yourself and lost all your night vision. This thing having no beam spill, having a perfectly projected square beam of light, almost like a laser, is something that I want to see if it actually works to my advantage. If it's foggy out, it's useless, which it usually is. But hey, if it's not foggy out, I'll be putting it to good use, and I can see there being a huge advantage to it. In addition to that, looking for a walleye at night, you can send out that little square beam of light through the water and not spook or not light up the entire expanse of water, putting down a bunch of fish. If you're just trying to like spot around for some fish, I can see that square being pretty cool. So yeah, that's my personal justification why I bought this big hulking beer can of a light. So, to each their own. I'll get that out of the way and we'll move along. So this is the Warrior X Turbo, which fairly compact for what it can put out, and it puts out quite a bit of light at a very long range. It has 2 brightness levels. You got the fairly bright one and the pretty damn bright one, and it'll send light out almost 800, 900 yards, something like that. Now this one here, this is what I opted to go with versus another color of this. It is, in my opinion, a standard tactical light. Puts out a medium range in terms of width of beam angle. It's not a true spot. It's not a true flood. It's somewhere in between, and it has a very similar functionality to. I'm trying to find an example for you. I mean, to the Warrior Mini. It's got the direct access to turbo on the tail cap. You have the double click turbo by tapping the button up here, and you can hold it down and cycle through the different beam patterns, and you tap it a couple times and now you're making everybody sick and having a disco. At the same time, if you hold it down for 2 seconds, you have the, come on, the lockout mode. Hold it down again for 2 seconds, and it comes back on to its kind of their midnight loan. So it's a good little light, and it has what I call the stitches maker. Very aggressively milled, machined, whatever you want to call it. Bezel around the light. These are fairly sharp. If I run them along my bench just like this, it'll scratch the polycarbonate. And yeah, if somebody's getting sassy and you can't ward them off with the disco mode and make them dance with you, you can mess them up pretty good if you decide to go stabby with it. So that's a true tactical light. And it also has a magnetic recharger, which is pretty convenient. Whereas all you gotta do, you know, I should one day show you my Olight charging base command center. I'm not even kidding. I bought one of those 8 USB charging command centers, and they're all going. So all you gotta do, boom, get it close, and she's charging. Really nice feature, especially if you're a jobber, if you're a contractor, and you're using your lights like the Perrin 2 or the Perrin 2 Mini, where you have the headlamp or the magnetic, where you stick it on a beam that you're working on or something like that, especially if you're a pipe fitter or an electrician, whether you're a Romexican or a little elect chicken, a low voltage electrician, having a strong magnet on the base of your flashlight's pretty helpful. You kind of light up areas that you're working in there you really couldn't see otherwise. It's pretty convenient. These things, I wish I had these when I was an electrician and when I was doing home theater work. And all you gotta do is when you're at the end of the day, all you gotta do at the end of the day, if you got this in the USB port on your charger, just get it close, and it jumps right to it, just like so. Super simple, super easy. Moving along. This guy here, I for one am not a big fan of AA and AAA lights. If I'm carrying a flashlight, it's either a headlamp or something with a serious amount of power. I prefer lithium cells, 18650s and up, because of the higher voltage, the longevity, and the higher output that you usually get associated with a lithium battery. But you can buy aftermarket lithium AA and AAAs. I use the Dealy Pows. They're pretty good. This guy here is a AAA powered light. Max is, I think, at around 300 lumens. It's fairly bright for what it is. I remember growing up having mag lights like this, and this thing just smokes it in every way, shape, and form. I look at mag light and I just wonder how they exist. Other than the big giant D-cell one, which who wants to buy D-cell batteries, and using it as a blackjack or a billy club, I don't know how they sell flashlights anymore when you have companies like this and Nightcore and all the other brands on Amazon and that kind of such. So this guy, AAA light, puts out a decent amount of light. It has 2 different brightness modes. Tail cap switch, momentary, full click. Pretty intelligently designed, machined from titanium. You can see how it compares to their AA sized light. Very small, very compact. Gets the job done for what it's useful for. Just, you know, has the ambidextrous clip. You can go from, you know, button down or up top like this. Good for a shirt pocket. Now this thing here, this was the sleeper. Wasn't expecting it to be as cool as it was. Wasn't expecting it to have as quality a feel as it did just from its appearance. Now Olight makes good stuff. They do. Olight doesn't make junk. If there's anything to take away from the videos that I've put out, and for you guys that have been following me for a while, you know I don't promote crap. If there's something that I'm interested, I may consider taking it from the company and then doing a video on it. Olight makes some good quality products. They really do. There are other flashlight companies that reach out to me through Night, whatever their other brand is. There's 2 brands that one uses the technology from the other. I get the emails from the same person. As far as I'm concerned, they're the same company. And I don't take product from them because it's just junk. There's one thing to consider. When we'll open up this one here. Their tail caps, see how this is milled copper? Theirs is just crappy aluminum. There's just something about that unanodized, uncoated, rough aluminum being threaded into aluminum versus the nice O-ring seal and the nice, you know, smooth threading of the soft copper going into the anodized aluminum. It's just a better feel, better quality. something that little things, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world, but when you're spending 50, 60, 80 bucks on a light, that kind of goes up, steps it up a notch. It's something I like to see. But this little guy here looks like a Pokeball. Comes with a little adhesive backed with 3M tape, so be careful putting this on a painted surface because you're not getting it off without ripping off the paint. I'll put that straight out, right? I mean, I buy this tape in rolls, and yeah, this is it. This stuff is like, you might as well be using epoxy. But it's got a magnetic base, right? Which I have, 4, 5, 6 shelf, 4 foot wide, 7 foot tall, magnetic rolling carts. This thing will stick to that, no problem. And the beauty of it is, let's give it a tap. Once it's on a flat surface, you don't even need the magnetic disc. This is a perfectly flat surface. Boom. It has 4 modes. It has red, indicator. This is its lowest setting. It's probably, my lights are probably so bright that I'm using to film with, probably doesn't even show up on camera. Oh, it does. It's like a faint glow. This is its brightest. Again, when you're going up against, a couple 100 watts of studio lighting, you're not going to be able to see much. And it has the red. And the red is beautiful. It is a super saturated glow. It's barely even going to show up. And you just got to take my word for it. Even when I filmed this at night, which you'll see in a minute, it showed up as more of an orange. But when I say it's super saturated red, it's pretty cool. And it's a faint glow. You're not using this. I would never use this on a trail. I might bring this camping and just pop it up in my tent. That kind of deal, just to get some little ambient light so I could see what I'm doing at night. But yeah, fully waterproof. You can throw this around a pool. You can have it catch with the kids. It's not as toyish as I thought it was going to be. It actually feels pretty good. I actually dropped this in the parking lot off the back of my car twice, and I'm really not seeing any damage done to it. Maybe there's some fine scratches. Again, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just some scratches. It fell 4 feet and just rolled around the parking lot, and that's what it landed on. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you check out the sale going on. If you guys are balling out and you want the beast, there's a good price on it right now. It's well under 300 bucks at the moment on sale. This thing is cool. I dig it. It's the best. It's the best battery charger for your cell phone that you'll ever own. And yeah, check out the sale prices. Check out the details on their websites. They have a lot of stuff going on, and the package deals make it hard not to spend a lot of money there. It really is. When I bought this thing, I'm like, but wait, I want a free Seeker too. So then I was like, okay, what do I got to do to get Seeker 2? Oh, this is in a combo pack for 200 and whatever dollars. So I got to get the combo pack. But now I got to get that next threshold. So then I bought it. They got me. They freaking got me. And yeah, I'm having fun with flashlights. Oh, God. All right. Enjoy the beautiful beam footage. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Warrior X Turbo. Now, mine is the gunmetal. They have a new color that debuted for this sale. And if you look, I'm going to send this beam all the way down range at that structure way out there. Next up we have the Behemoth, which is the Marauder 2. Give it a quick spin, fire it up. This is its flood mode. The camera's not going to pick it up, but it does light up that structure all the way out in the distance. But you can see down here in tight, on its max brightness level, it just throws a ton of light down range. And if you compare this one at its maximum power to one of my favorites, which is the Seeker 2 Pro, this thing cranks. This little handheld jobber puts out a ton of light, an insane amount of light. But it's dwarfed by the Marauder 2. Now, the cool thing about the Marauder is it's spot beam. So at max distance, it's lighting up that building. And it's a perfectly square beam. It's not quite as bright as the Warrior X Turbo, but it has the advantage of no spill. You can see that there's absolutely no spill. It's a perfect square going all the way out. Now the advantage of that is, at least for me, and the reason why I actually bought this light and spent the money I did on it, not like I need another flashlight because I have a billion of them now, it's if I'm running offshore for tuna and we see a return on the radar and we don't know if it's a wave or if it's a lobster pot and it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, as long as it's not foggy out, I can take this puppy and just blast out 300 yards out without lighting up the bow of the boat. So a lot of the flashlights, including the Warrior X Turbo, they have a lot of light spill. It's not just a focus beam. So you'll be lighting up downrange off the bow, but you're also lighting up the bow, which will completely destroy your night vision. So I figured this would be an awesome tool to bring on the boat. On top of that, you can charge your cell phone. Is it needed? I don't know. It's a toy, but it's a tool at the same time. It's a cool toy. It's a cool tool toy. Now, next up we have one of the most popular tactical lights. This is the M2R Pro Warrior in a new finish. It's almost like a bead blasted blue anodized finish, and it's a very bright blue. It's a nice color. I like it. Definitely dig it. And direct access to turbo from the tail cap. Has a nice clicky on the back. And you have the fine-tune adjustment, so you can press and hold it down and cycle through, and then double click it to go to turbo or hit the tail cap. Puts out quite a bit of light. Now this is the, the Warrior Mini. This was a limited edition one they had, the Titanium Rainbow Spring 2, and you can compare the brightness levels between the two. A little brighter, different color temperature. And then you have the strobe feature, which very powerful strobe on this one. So it's a fairly compact light. It's not as compact as a little mini, but also has the stitches maker. Anybody gets wise and you just bash them in the head with this thing, it's going to leave a mark. It's definitely going to leave a mark. Now next up, which is new for this sale, is the i3T EOS AAA light in titanium. Has a 2-stage clicky tail cap switch, so you can go momentary, 2 brightnesses, and it'll put out about 300 lumens, which isn't too shabby for a AAA light. Thing's tiny. A little too big for keychain carry, but it's definitely a good shirt pocket carry type light if you want to put it in the coin pocket on your jeans. Really is tiny, super lightweight. Weighs a little bit more than just the battery alone. And yeah, it does a good job. Very simple operation. It's not going to accidentally go off. And yeah, in my experience, if you want, buy some of the Pow lithium ion AA's and AAA's. It'll actually give a little bit more output. And they're rechargeable. They're better than the nickel metal hydride rechargeables too. Now, last but not least, we have the brand spanking new Olight Pokeball. And this guy here, albeit kind of toyish, is pretty darn useful. It has a magnetic back plate, and it even comes with an adhesive back little metal coin that you can just go ahead and stick that to any surface and then pow, just pop this on there. And what's cool about it, when it's adhered via the magnet on the back plate, all you gotta do is press the front and it'll turn it on and off. And if you want to cycle through its mode, you have the dim mode. I'll turn my film light off. You have its brightest mode, this guy here, then it goes into a deep red. Now guys, I know the camera's not going to do it justice, but when I say this is a super saturated red, I don't think I've seen a more pleasing reddish glow to look at in any light I've ever owned. There is no piercing red, there's no glare caused by it, it's very diffused and very saturated. It's showing up as orange, but it's the kind of light that if you want to take this thing out on a trail at night, the red light isn't going to do much other than offer a signal beacon so people can see where you're at, because you're not seeing anything where you're going, even if your eyes are adjusted for night vision. And yeah, it even has a red, I don't want to call it a strobe, but it's almost like a signal type red. So you can put this on your bike, via magnet, just tons of things you can do with this light. It's pretty cool. It's fully waterproof. And you can take it in the pool, the kids can throw it around. It's fairly tough. It doesn't feel like it's a chintzy piece of plastic. It's fairly well built, very solid. The red half of it is like a good soft touch. More than just a soft touch, it feels like it's kind of rubbery. Kind of like a co-injected, maybe a TPE over plastic. And it comes with a magnetic charger, which the other lights other than the i3 TEOs come with. So that about wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to go play with the Marauder a little bit before Santa Claus comes by. Take care, guys.